Well, Davey from Dataline, very warm welcome here to INKISH, our Learn With Us session. And we're going to talk a little bit about who you are, and you have prepared a presentation and some videos, and you have actually been allowed to show a presentation, right? You're the only one that asked. All the others they just do it. All the others they just do it. Before I would like you to introduce yourself. I just want to say to people that might see this session here, the reason why MIS systems is becoming an even more important part of this learning and selling print online experience is maybe because, as we saw in the previous session, if you have like price lists of 11, 12, 15,000 different SKUs in a web-to-print solution, there is a lot of things to manage, and you don't really need to do that if you have an MIS system, right?
Correct. So what we actually want to show today is actually, if you actually have already a calculation environment, what we actually don't want to actually that they actually have to do all the work again on an online presence. And that's something that we want to avoid. You already have your own business. Maybe you're already working in the industry for more than 15 years. You already have tools. You do already regular business. Why actually do this type of work all over again and create products and prices and online, and also maintain them online? It's not only creating, you also have to maintain them. And that's also something we're going to show today with our concept of the e-calculator.
One thing I can't help think about is that I used to work obviously in a printing company at some point, and I think that one of the biggest challenges if you look at the resource planning in a company is essentially that when you are giving a quote to a customer, you basically calculate all the processes from amount of paper to the resource planning on the machines to get like some kind of accuracy in this one. If you integrate an MIS system into a web-to-print solution, are you then also able to, let's say, get data from customers on an individual basis, or is it only for like mass products? I mean, you understand my question?
Not completely, but
okay.
The only thing, go ahead and maybe explain a little bit more in detail.
I'm asking because, I mean, if you have a web-to-print solution, you typically have like business cards, and you can select 100, 200, 500, whatever, right? And,
Indeed.
And so on. But sometimes you want to have like 144 in a different size. Normally that would be like sending an email, and you get a quote, and then you're back. So that starts that MIS process that people know from printing companies. Would you be able also with your solutions to offer web-to-print customers to have like specific quotes delivered directly into your MIS system?
Well, there's two different levels, of course. You have the B2C environment, you have the B2B environment. First of all, you have to ask the question, who's the target audience? If you actually go into a B2B environment, then maybe you actually need to offer your customers a kind of web portal where they actually can do those requests online and get processed by your MIS system. But also then the communication of that offer can be done through a web portal. Now, the calculation engine that we use within MultiPress, what is the intention with a web portal, is that we use that same calculation engine that you use in your company on a day-to-day business, and you actually expand it to a web environment. So if you actually calculate the product in MultiPress for a specific customer, or you calculate it on a web portal, is that now B2C, B2B, you're using the same engine, you're getting the same results. And that's it. That's actually the power of the integration.
Perfect. So now I want to hear, Davey, who are you and what is Dataline?
Well, I'm Davey. First of all, I'm actually already active in the graphical industry for more than 20 years. One of my previous employers were companies like NUR, that actually became HP, Gandhi Innovation, that actually then became ACFA in the end. Yeah, it's nothing. I have nothing to do with it. These takeovers, I have nothing to do with it. My previous employer.
But you're a good name dropper, right?
Thank you. Previous employer was Fujifilm. I'm already working now for Dataline for more than 5 years, especially for handling projects and managing projects in Europe. So we cover the whole of Europe with our product, our flagship MultiPress. Already successful implementations in France, in Spain, in Finland, in Hungary, in Croatia, all over Europe already. And currently, in my role is switching a little bit from being a project manager to being a solution architect, because we also see the need for our customers to handle, to offer specific solutions on specific environments. And integration is a very big part of it. We are a very powerful MIS ERP system, but we see actually the need to connect to specific platforms as well, like a B2B, B2C, but also shipping, accounting, those kind of platforms. And that's also something that we're going to highlight today.
But I also take that with the MIS system, also the integration to the financial systems, right? And that might be different from country to country because they have different regulations, right? Yeah.
Well, financial systems. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, David. No, the thing that stands out for me as one of the topics with DataLine is that a lot of the other solutions that we saw and that we will see today and tomorrow as well is that they have the web to print solution and then go maybe buy an API, to connect to some third-party ERP or MIS. And in this case, I think we will see what will you bring us. It's probably the opposite, isn't it? So you start from an MIS and then you bring you open up to web to print or to the web environment as well. So that I think will be very interesting to see as a PSP and printing company where the differences are.
Correct.
Perfect. I know that you prepared a video because we were supposed to have, or we thought we were going to have Dirk, your CEO, on the show as well. But he has the same problem as Jacques and I have, that if he was attending live, he would take the entire session. So you prepared a video with him, right?
Correct.
Do you want to start it, or should I start?
I'm gonna just start it up. I'm just gonna mute myself and also hide my camera then.
And so will Jacques and I, and we will revert to you when we're ready with the Q&As, right?
Okay.
Perfect.
Take it away, David.
See you in a bit.
The subway of a large city connects places along different metro lines, with connections that allow you to switch smoothly from one track to the other. In the same way, every print media company has many processes to manage the production of an order. For example, calculation, planning, finance, shipping, reporting. For each of these processes, you could use a different software. But how do all these packages connect to each other? Manually or automatically? Does this always run smoothly and on time? Only MultiPress connects all your processes optimally, time and cost efficient, just like a subway network. For each process, MultiPress guides your company along the shortest track. This makes MultiPress the most unique solution. It is the only way for your company to realize more profit, faster turnaround times, higher margins, fewer errors, and less loss of time. With MultiPress, you choose the perfect route to efficiency.
Hello and welcome to the DataLine web session. My name is Dirk de Roo and I am the CEO of DataLine Solutions, a Belgian software company dedicated to MIS ERP software for the print and sign industry since more than 23 years. In 1997, I started DataLine from my attic room after a career as Apple evangelist. I saw the challenges the printing industry was facing, in particular the transition from a craft to a process-driven industry. In the beginning, MultiPress was a CRM and calculation software, but since many years, the print industry and print MIS software has evolved into a complete backbone where administration, calculation, estimation, planning, finance, logistics, along with production tracking and management are integrated into one powerful, streamlined management system. For every production technique, DataLine developed the most unique and most advanced calculation software model. Maximum automation is achieved, but at no time is control taken away from the user. Our product experts will explain and demonstrate this later to you. Today, more than 1,000 companies in the print and sign industry use MultiPress on a daily basis, representing 10,000 users in 25 countries in Europe. Our software is available in 11 languages, and I'm proud to mention that we have received for the second year in a row the European Digital Press Award in the category Best European MIS ERP Software. Our company Dataline has 60 employees in 5 locations in Belgium, the Netherlands, France and Germany. And we are represented in 25 countries in Europe through a network of experienced channel partners. Just like the MultiPress customers you just have seen, it is clear that automation of your administration and production workflows is no longer optional. The only question is when. With MultiPress, Dataline has built a lot of automation experience since 20 years. And based on that experience, to help you in that exercise, we developed an audit software that makes a deep analysis of all processes within the printing company. And through this software, our business consultants give you a razor-sharp calculation that brings the best automation opportunities to surface, including how much you will save.
Okay, so let's come back. So that was our CEO Dirk, a little bit of an introduction about Dataline.
Okay.
Don't know if
Yeah,
I can take over from it. Okay, perfect. So we've done the introduction. I'm not going to introduce myself again. Let's actually go over the agenda and what we're going to see today. First of all, I do have to explain you what we handle in MultiPress, because a little bit different than the other webinars that you already saw yesterday and today. We are not a web shop environment. We are not a B2C or a B2B platform. We are an ERP MIS software. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of what kind of processes that we handle in the software, but I also will going to become more and more clearer how we can actually expand those processes in our software that you use on a day-to-day basis to those web environments. We're also going to talk a little bit about a B2B platform. We have our own customer portal, a B2B platform. And this is actually a B2B environment is the fastest way of expanding your services to your existing customers. Never forget your existing customers, certainly if you want to have a more and more online presence. There's 2 strategies. There's actually an expansion of your current business, and there's also going into new business and new opportunities. But never forget your current customers. But add services to your customers. Allow them to validate offers online, to upload files, to do proof validation, to track the status of the jobs, to track actually also the delivery of their orders. And that's also something that we're going to start with. I'm going to highlight also today. Next, we're going to actually set up a web shop, a B2C web shop in this case. We use a lot of partners in our B2C environment. We've done integrations with Magento. We've done integrations also with Presero, also with other platforms. In this session, we're going to focus a little bit on Presero. It's not the intention to give you a Presero demo. I'm just actually going to do a very small introduction. The most important thing is how we actually connect and how we communicate with those platforms. We're also going to show you how we're going to actually process these online orders. But next to that, I want to focus a little bit on the other administrative tasks that are connected to web shop environment or a web presence. What we don't want to do is actually that we start actually integrating those orders manually in the system. We don't want to re-enter the information that already has been provided from a web platform. This information has to be processed automatically. But because also we are in a stable environment, and a stable environment in B2C, the products has been defined, the customer has defined what he needs for to be able to produce his order, and the files has been delivered. Let's automate that process. Why can't we actually then prepare the files automatically? Why can't we actually then automatically provide additional proofs to our customers? Why can't we actually reserve the resources that we need and actually forward those files directly to the workflow? So we're going to show that as well today, the power of integration. Okay. To end, small customer testimonial because I'm going to show you a lot of things and it's going to look like magic what we do here. But I also want to actually let our customers talk themselves, and also small testimonials of a customer in the Netherlands where we actually done this concept, where we integrated this concept. Unfortunately, it's in Dutch, but we have English subtitles. Okay, so let's dig into it. So the first thing that I wanted to show you, what do we handle in MultiPress? Well, actually, we handle every administrative task in a printing company. We do actually have a central database that contains all our relations. The calculations itself is done in a very technical level, calculating all the resources that you need to produce the job. This for different technologies. We're in the graphical industry. It's not only offset printing. We also have digital sheet fed. We have large format printing. We have screen printing. We have, for example, also heat set, cold set. All of those technologies are different engines. We have for every technology a engine that we can put into the system. So we calculate very technically. Of course, we communicate the offers directly to the customers. We do the follow-up. We transform those offers into production orders where we actually pre-flight the files that we receive from the customers. We can do the impositioning. We can actually forward that imposition to the workflows. We connect to different workflows. Is that now JDF-wise, or is the imposition done in MultiPress and then forwarded to a specific workflow? It is possible as well. We actually do purchase and stock management. We do resource planning in production. We then have also the possibility to do time registration and to compare what we've done calculation-wise with what we achieved in production, if we actually have the calculated in post-calculation on the same way that we actually calculated it in the offer. Do we need to optimize something, yes or no? So that information we can use to optimize the system then as well. We connect to shipping providers. We take care of the expedition as well. And of course, like it already has been mentioned, we create the invoicing, and we do also connect to accounting systems. The advantage that we have is that we already have proven to be able to connect to a lot of accounting systems. Is that now an accounting system in France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Finland, Sweden? Doesn't matter. We actually have the possibility to connect to those accounting systems, of course, and that's with integration, it's always the key. They have to be open to actually receive information from a third-party system as well. We now monitor payments, and we have a lot of reporting tools. We also have a very intuitive dashboard environment that we can set up also for the customers. But enough about the presentations. Let's actually dig into the software. Let me share my screen. Voila. So if I actually do this, hopefully you guys will now see my screen. Perfect. And you should actually see the MultiPress dashboard.
That's fine.
Perfect, thank you. So first of all, like I mentioned, MultiPress is a client-server application. We are completely cross-platform. It works on Mac and on PC. You set up your system. You use this for a day-to-day business. Now, first thing I want to tackle is the B2B environment. Again, like I mentioned, an online presence is also an online presence for your current customers. And your current customers can actually benefit from validating those orders online, uploading files, seeing the status of the job. So how do we handle this? How do we use this in a day-to-day basis? First of all, of course, if I launch a new calculation in MultiPress, I define who is my customer. Let's say it's for Arison Furniture in this case. Okay, and sorry about that. It's a live demonstration, and I have to use this information, this environment, of course. So let's actually start this again for Arison Furniture. And let's say this is a new project, and it's for, let's say, IKEA. IKEA wants some brochures. They want some flyers as well for an opening of a new shop, for example. and they would like some brochures and some flyers. Now, of course, I actually can generate this offer from scratch, but the intention of MultiPress is actually always to translate the knowledge of your colleagues into MultiPress, because you have technical people, you have salespeople. Sales are getting less and less technical. They don't know actually how a product has been constructed. The intention is to actually translate the experience from technical colleagues into MultiPress. That's why these guys actually set up a wizard. It's like a configuration, an automatic configuration tool. And based on the elements that you feed into it, it will automatically allocate production resources and calculate the price. So in this case, for example, if I need to do a price for 5,000 brochures, I can also give my customer an alternative quantity of 7,500 and 10,000. These are 32 pages. Let's say it's going to be an A4. And in this case, we're talking about a booklet. The cover itself is going to be printed on 150 gram silk, and the inside is going to be printed on 115 grams silk. Now, the options I have here are predefined. If you want to do a calculation for this kind of product, you have the possibility to define a cover and an inside. You have the possibility to define a substrate, the amount of colors that you want to need, and also, for example, the kind of finishing. So that's already predefined in the system, that your sales guys actually don't use by mistake the wrong substrate that is not compatible with this product. So this is for the brochure. So what has been done now, I do have a message that I have some paper wastage, but that doesn't matter. What I actually done now, I actually done the calculation in a technical way, meaning that all of my resources that I have to actually produce that job is already there. I have my sales price. I also know exactly what is my cost price. So this is actually how we actually calculate on a technical way. We know exactly what is our cost, what is our profit, what is our gain with this product. The same thing for the leaflets. Let's actually do this quickly for the leaflets as well. This is only one page. That's it's going to be an A5. Let's take the leaflet flyers. In this case, we're going to print this on 120 grams. This is going to be full color front. And this is for the leaflet. Voilà. Same thing, calculated. Of course, leaflets in this low quantities are going to be printed digitally on a Xerox iGen and not on an offset machine. Now, calculation has been made, ready to be communicated to the customer. So what we do normally in a normal environment, we actually generate the offer. We select one of the layouts. The offer has been generated. And in this case, the only thing I'll need to do is actually just email this offer directly from MultiPress to my customer. So now it has been communicated. So now actually let's change roles. I'm not an employee of the printing company anymore. I'm actually now the customer. So I get in my mailbox from my printing company the offer. I see nicely the offer in PDF. But what I also notice that in the email itself, there's a web link. You can validate your offer and upload your files here. This is actually the connection. Now let me just change over and put this in the main screen so everybody can see it. This is a web link that goes directly to that customer's platform, the customer's web access. This is a B2B environment where the customer can have access to 24/7. Where they can see actually all their existing calculations. They can do a new request for a calculation. They can do some price calculations themselves online. They can validate proofs. They can see job, they can track job statuses. They can do whatever they want. And for each customer that's in your CRM database of MultiPress, you can actually create this level of access. You can personalize it a bit as well. Let's say, for example, we have IKEA as a customer. You can just add the IKEA logo then as well. So this is the offer that I made in MultiPress that made available for my customer. The same information is available because it's a bi-directional connection to this web platform. The only thing that they need to do is actually just validate this as a job. They can select the quantity that has been proposed. They can provide us a date when they're actually going to give us the files, or they can just upload the files here directly to this environment. So let me just grab one of my demo files. I have here some brochures. Here we go, 32 pages. And let's actually take this one, okay? And let's put it in my shopping basket. Let's do the same thing for the flyers. Select also a file for those flyers. Okay. And let's take this one, for example. The benefit is that MultiPress also has a pre-flighting engine. We've done the integration of a software that's called Callas into MultiPress, and Callas is a pre-flighting engine. The advantage of this web platform is that we also can give the access to that pre-flighting engine directly in the web platform for our customers. So if, for example, the customer just wants to actually double check his pre-flight, they just have to click on the pre-flighting button. I know, sorry, it's in French. The reason why, I just done some tests on a French database, and apparently some cookies has saved the French language, so sorry about that. If we put it back, for example, the pre-flighting report has been generated. The customer sees the technical information about the pre-flight, and also can see there's no problem with this file. Now, this pre-flighting report can also be customized. Some customers understand this technical language. Other customers do not understand this technical language. So the way that we communicate to those customers will also be more and more important. Now, in the end, if the customer actually says, okay, I'm happy with everything, they actually can validate the offer online. The shipping information that you see here is also coming directly from MultiPress. So if you want to add a new delivery address, you just have to add it in MultiPress, and it will automatically be validated. Just press send. This has now arrived in MultiPress. So if I'm actually going back to MultiPress, you will see if you're working very happily in MultiPress, you suddenly see a pop-up message. And this is the web portal informing the user that there is a new order that came from the web portal. What is this order about? Let's actually go have a look. It's in my internet buffer. It has not been processed as an active job yet, but I do see here, for example, that Revea Beck has validated the offer that I've sent her, and validated the brochures, and already uploaded the file as well. So the only thing that we'll need to do to actually validate this and create a new job or a new order in our system is just to select these elements and pressing the process button. We do have the possibility to process these two products in one big order, or we also can actually choose to create two separate orders of this. It's all up to you. You can choose. We have this functionality. I've chosen now to generate one new job containing those two elements. So if I go into the job section, I can see here there's a new job been generated. Let's actually just delete a little bit of information that we don't need. With those two products, I know that the artwork is already there because the artwork date has been filled out. If we actually go to the materials, I have a complete bill of materials that I need to produce this job. Just by pressing the auto button, I know if I have enough in stock, yes or no. In this case, I do not have enough in stock of a specific product, but I already informed our purchase department that a purchase needs to be done to replenish my stock. I have all the planning of the resources that I need to produce the job as well, but I already have the file as well. The customer has uploaded the file on the platform. That means that the file is available. MultiPress is going to automatically generate a new folder on your file server that contains a specific structure every time something has been uploaded to MultiPress. You don't have to grab it from a Google Drive or an FTP. it is already local on your file server. It has a huge advantage. We don't have to spend time searching for those files. We just press the open button here, and this is actually going to open the location on the file server where we find those two files. Of course, these are customer files. We still want to keep the originals. Let's actually just drag and drop this in the prepress folder. And here, for example, we do have the possibility then to automatically proof those files, or to automatically pre-flight those files, to correct them if I'm wrong, if they're wrong, and to actually send a proof to the customer. I'm actually not going to show you today, now actually how to send this proof to the customer. We're going to come back to that one in the automation environment, how we can actually automatically send those proofs to the customers. But in this case, we also have all the elements that are already ready. We can actually then generate the imposition and send this imposed file to the workflow. Now, we have two different levels of connecting to workflows, and all depends, of course, on the workflow. We already done successful integrations with Caldera for large format printing, but also with ACFA, also with Heidelberg's Prenect, also with Kodak workflows. So in that case, we're not going to send the imposed files, but we're going to send the imposition information, or the JDF information, to those workflows, that they actually can produce the output of the plates the way that has been calculated in the offer for the customer. So that's also a type of level integration, that we share this technical information with the workflows that are connected to it, or you generate the imposition directly into MultiPress and you provide the imposed file to the customer. Let's actually come back to this in a minute, because this is actually just showing you guys that you also have the possibility to connect to your existing customers by offering them additional services, like, for example, having an online access, validating those proofs, and validating those things online. Okay, this is B2B. This is actually very interesting for your existing customers. Now, new business. New business is also very interesting. And with new business, the best way and the easiest way, easiest way is actually to have a web shop. But don't underestimate launching a web shop. I think I'm not the only one this week already saying this. Do not underestimate launching a web shop. It doesn't take half an hour. It doesn't take 2 days. You have to define your strategy. You have to do the design, but that's 20% of the work. 80% of the work is which products I'm going to sell online, and defining those products. The other is defining the prices. What is the prices for how much I'm going to sell this for online? Why repeat this work if you already have this information in MultiPress? You already have a very powerful calculation engine in MultiPress to be able to calculate those products, and on a technical way, with the specific technologies connected to the product. Calculating and defining price lists on the web shop is one thing. Another thing is maintaining those prices. You have a lot of fluctuations in materials, plates prices, aluminum prices, paper prices. If we talk about large format, you have PVC, you have different kinds of substrates or materials that you need to produce those jobs. These prices fluctuate. Prices fluctuation means updating prices. That means in MultiPress, the only thing I'll need to do is actually change the purchasing price of a substrate. If you have MultiPress connected to your web shop, all the products that are connected to that substrate will be updated instantly. There's no administrative process anymore, because you maintain it in one central system. Now, of course, how do we do this? How do we set this up? First of all, like I told you, we're going to use the example of Presero, but we can do this with other web shop technologies as well. Let's actually have a look at Presero. Again, if you're interested in Presero, if you have more questions about Presero, just write me an email, or and I'm going to get you guys in touch with the guys from Presero. We are not here to sell Presero. The intention is, if you actually have a Presero, that you can generate your new web shop based on some templates. They have specific templates that you can use to start setting up your web shop. We've done this week here in our offices, and we actually created a new web shop called Imprim International. And in Imprim International, you see here, for example, we have a couple of products. These are digital products, large format products. These are offset products. So you will see, for example, all those products are online. Now, how do we create those products? How do we create and actually define the prices of those products? Actually, that's not something that we do in Presero. We do this in MultiPress. So let's actually go back into MultiPress. And let's say we want to offer a new kind of product on our web shop. And let's say, for example, it's going to be some stickers. And those vinyl stickers will be available in different kinds of finishing, with different kinds of substrates, and so forth and so forth. So let's actually just quickly set up our product. How we do this? We go into MultiPress, and we're going to define a new wizard product. In this case, for example, I'm just going to create a new product in my product configurator. And I'm going to call this, for example, vinyl stickers. I'm going to define the technical functionalities of the product. What is technical feasible with this product? So we're not going to print double-sided on a sticker. We're going to print single-sided. The amount of pages that we allow is just one page. It's not a book, or it's not a brochure. We're going to connect a product type to it. That the product type will help me to define, for example, the VAT level, but also, for example, in the end, if I want to see the turnover on a specific product, I can filter this very quickly and see the turnover of that specific product. Let's also grab some description. So I'm just going to paste some description I prepared. We can connect a checklist. Now, a checklist is a commercial way of describing the product. In MultiPress, you also always have the technical way of describing a product, but you also have the commercial way of describing the product, how I'm going to communicate this product to my customer. Now, you have the possibility to define your own checklists. And what I'm doing now is actually the elements that I have in my checklist will be automatically filled based on the selection that you do by calculating the product. You also now define here, for example, which material is available. Let's say for self-adhesive, we have some permanent self-adhesive. So let's actually add this to one of the substrates that are available for this product. Let's do the same thing for removable. Let's actually also grab this. Now we have those two substrates that are available for this product. Finishing wise, I want to allow the customer to select the kind of shape. They want to cut it in a rectangular, or maybe it's, for example, a circle, or maybe it's a square or a personalized shape. They also want to offer some lamination. Now, why do I go into detail about the rectangular or circle and those kind of things? If you actually have, I don't know if there's a lot of large format printing companies, but in large format printing, if you need to cut a square, or you need to cut out a circle, or you need to cut out a specific shape, it is connected to cutting times. The longer you actually cut on something, the more it costs, the more expensive it is. Now, based on that amount of time that we calculate in MultiPress for a specific shape, we can actually connect this to the pricing engine, meaning that the options that I defined will be connected to production processes. In this case, let's actually start and generate, for example, that the customer can start using a shape. So let's actually define here, for example, that we can choose a shape. Voila, perfect. And this first shape will be, for example, let's say rectangular. Okay. And let's say this will be a rectangle. A rectangle in this case, I need my zoomed to be able to do this. And that's going to be cutting. And this is going to be a normal straight shape. Okay, so this is my first option finishing wise. Now, of course, I don't have to define this every time manually. I can just copy this and say, for example, this is going to be a circle. And this circle means that I actually have a very complex shape. So that's going to be a little bit more expensive to cut. The same thing if I have, for example, a personalized shape. And in this case, for example, this is going to be a very complex finishing operation. So this is my cutting. Of course, I can also now define, for example, the lamination. So the customer can choose a type of lamination. And let's say, for example, choose lamination. And in this case, it can be, for example, no lamination. In this case, I don't have to do anything because there's no finishing operation connected to it. And just make a copy. And in this case, it can be glass lamination, for example. So let's say glass. And need to actually do this on my seal laminating device. And I'm actually going to use my Graphitip Glossy as a substrate. So device and substrate. Same thing for matte lamination. Let me just copy this. 3, and this is then matte lamination. And I'm going to use Graphitip matte. Okay. Now, all of this already has been defined. The only thing I'll need to do is actually say to my system that I'm going to print this in large format. I'm going to print this on, in this case, a Mimaki device. And prepress wise, the only thing I'll need to do is actually go into my PDF action, a verification, and I need at least one verification to do this. Now, first of all, this product is now defined. I can use this product in MultiPress. And if I do a calculation on this product in MultiPress, I'm going to obtain a price, a calculated sales price. The intention is that I actually also have this product available on my web shop. And I do not have to recreate this product on my web shop. I also do not have to connect this to any kind of pricing. The pricing will come from MultiPress. So the only thing I'll need to do is actually go into my integration environment. And here, for example, define, okay, dear integration, show me all the autofill products or show me all the products that have been defined in my MultiPress. And somebody has changed something. Let me just refresh. It has been open for too long. This is maybe better. So list me all the autofill products or the production configurations that are already defined in MultiPress. And here we find, for example, those vinyl stickers that I've just created in my MultiPress. Let's actually select this. I will ask the customer to upload the file. And let's add this in the category. These are all the categories on my web shop. And let's add this to the labels and stickers. And I actually will make this available for everybody, every customer in this web shop. Of course, the price will be calculated from MultiPress. But for this, I also can actually allocate if I want to sell this a little bit more expensive on my web shop, yes or no. Let's ignore the shipping costs for now. And let's actually just create this selected product. Voila, product has been created. So that means if I go back onto my web shop, where I don't see any stickers now, if I refresh my web shop, suddenly I see a new category, labels and stickers. I see here, for example, my vinyl stickers. I do not have an image yet, but I already have the description that I defined in MultiPress. Let's actually just make this a little bit more prettier. Let's quickly connect a image to this. Let's go to stickers and connect a image. And I have an image here on my desktop. Voila. This has been uploaded, so I'm going to remove the original image. refresh, ready to sell. Now, if I'm a customer, the only thing I'll need to do is say here, for example, okay, I want the price for 200 stickers. These are going to be 250 by 250. Single-sided, of course. I want this on permanent self-adhesive. This has to be printed on a high quality. I want glass lamination, and this is going to be a circle. Remember all of these options that you see here? These all have been defined in MultiPress. If I want to add an option here, I add this option into MultiPress. If I want to add a substrate, I add a substrate in MultiPress. And this will be automatically added to your web shop and calculated. The price that we see here is calculated by MultiPress on the fly. If that substrate here that we see here go higher or lower, it will be automatically updated. I select my file. Let's actually have a file ready here. Let's put this in my cart. And proceed to checkout. Once and for all, we see here now the order has been put in. The only thing I'll need to do, let me just refresh this. The only thing I'll need to do is actually...
You have to be aware of time.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually looking at the clock. How much time do you still give me?
Yeah, it's more if we have any questions. There's a few, but please just do what you need, but just be aware of it.
Well, I'm just going to go show you two things because I just remember I done this faster when I was alone yesterday, strangely enough. So I received the files. I will send this now to MultiPress. So this order has now been sent to MultiPress. So if I go into my MultiPress, I go into jobs, I see this job, all the information is coming from the web shop. The materials are here. The resources planning wise are here. Even the file that is actually been uploaded is already present here as well. Now, invoices wise, because we have already a connection, we already do invoices in MultiPress, and we already do have a connection with an accounting system in from MultiPress. Of course, if I actually say this order has been finalized, this information can also come from MultiPress based on status updates. I can see here, for example, that the invoice is automatically generated in MultiPress and will be automatically be made available for the customer. Okay, there's one small last thing that I want to show you, and this is actually about integration and integration partners. And I know there's a couple of guys in this meeting that will be very angry if I didn't show this. This is actually what I've showed you now today, is actually the possibility to do this manually. To say, for example, I get the file, I process the file, I open it, I allocate it to a specific profile, communicate the proof, send it to my workflow. All those kind of things has now been done manually. The intention is with the information that we have about a product to, of course, automate this. If I actually generate an offer from a roll-up and the customer wants, for example, let's say a roll-up of white format. White format, and let's say here roll-up banners. Let's say, for example, they want one with a carrying bag and spotlight. They need 5 of them. The intention is, of course, that once we communicated this offer to the customer, like we've done in the beginning of the demo, we communicated this to the customer, and the customer uploads their file, and we know exactly that they actually are ordering a product that we have offered. We actually can connect automation to this, meaning that because we already know exactly what we need to produce the job, all pre-press tasks can be automated as well. So the only thing I'll need to do, or the only thing the customer needs to do, is actually just validate his order online, and actually I can now sit back and relax. I don't have to do anything.
And I have to interrupt you now because
sorry.
you're missing one thing that is more important, because you just said he can sit down and relax, but one thing he needs to do first is go to Dataline and buy your system. It was really impressive.
That's details. That's details.
That's details. Davey, I'm sorry that I had to interrupt you, because I actually think this was a fantastic demo. Sometimes you can think that seeing an MIS system should be boring. This was absolutely not boring. I also think that a lot of people watching this understand the value of having the MIS as a deeply integrated part of the web to print solution, obviously. Jacques, I'm glad that you reached out to Jeff and to Davey to convince them to participate in our Learn With Us here. I think it was very valuable.
Yeah, I think it's just a different approach to what other solutions can offer, and that it's very important, as Davey also mentioned, that the whole back end of the production is actually getting all the data. So, and it's another way of dynamically setting up pricing for web to print, in my opinion.
I have promised Jeff that we don't forget, because you have like a 1-minute testimonial video that I promised to shoot. So I would just start that right away, and then we have maybe Jacques, you get ready for the next session, and then we see each other in a second.
All right.
Okay, so
David, thank you. See you later.
See you. So do I start that? Okay.
I have already done so.
Ja, wat voor ons ook een belangrijke stap was om ervoor te zorgen dat wij zonder handwerk een order die online binnenkomt uiteindelijk zonder tussenkomst van de orderbegeleider in productie te krijgen. En als een klant een online order plaatst, komt die automatisch in MultiPress terecht. De betaling wordt netjes afgerond en verwerkt. De factuur wordt automatisch aangemaakt. De order wordt natuurlijk automatisch aangemaakt. Eventueel wordt de voorraad gereserveerd. De volgende stap, dat een klant een bestand kan uploaden, dat gebeurt ook allemaal online. Ze krijgen een bestandscontrole te zien waarin ze het resultaat van hun bestand terugkrijgen. Die kunnen ze accorderen en op de achtergrond wordt dan al een impositie aangemaakt, ook zonder tussenkomst van een orderbegeleider of een productiepersoon. En wordt eigenlijk ook de orderbon al gemaakt en wordt uiteindelijk de JDF automatisch verzonden naar onze Kodak Nexpress, waar uiteindelijk de order gedrukt kan worden.
Well, that was actually a very short testimonial video. I must admit.
Shorter than my demo. But this is actually just a proof in the end for that I'm not selling any bullshit. We actually already done it. We've done this already at specific customers, and this is also the way. Now, DBC Print is an existing MultiPress customer for years. I think a couple, 4 or 5 years or something like that. But we added this level of automation. Of course, you need to actually have the back end ready before you can actually start doing things like this in the front end.
What
we support with this.
What does it? I mean, you showed the Press Zero, and one question was actually from Jacques. He was asking, I mean, does it require that the web to print solution has a native integration to a MultiPress, or was that what you spoke about, the in-focus kind of integration, or how do you do that?
Well, there's two approaches. We have actually projects where the customer asks us, "Can we do this?" And our answer is always yes, but and yes, what do you want to achieve? Very important, actually, that we know that we want what they need to achieve, and then we do integration projects specifically for that customer. But more and more, we actually looking at our partners and doing standard integrations that we also can offer our customers. For example, an out-of-the-box solution. Development costs money. There's a high return on investment, but once it's finalized and once it has been defined. And that's why we're actually having more and more the approach to actually natively connect, for example, with Press Zero. We're going to do this with other web shop as well. We natively done this also now with Switch, with Caldera, with Agfa, and this list is getting bigger and bigger every day.
I think it's great for your customers. I think it's great for the web to print solutions as well. And I think this is like an eye opener for a lot of people. So I hope everybody enjoyed this session. And Davey, I want to thank you and Dataline for participating in our event. It was wonderful to get to know you.
Thank you for having us. Can I just mention one thing?
Yes, fast.
We're going to continue. Sorry about that. We're going to continue doing those webinars, and we're also going to do webinars on other solutions as well. So the only thing I can say to the audience: keep our LinkedIn page and our website page. Keep it. Just subscribe that you get the information of those new webinars.
I think that was a good advice. So thank you, Davey.
You're very welcome, and have a nice day.